when I met Kittle, he came in, gave me a huge hug. He's all fired up. He asked me 2 questions, right? The first one was, are you going to run Zorro, which is his favorite play, which he's the best in the world. Him and Juszczyk at it. You know it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. They're going to get you. They're going to gut you. And I'm like, yes, we are. We're going to run that. That was number 1. Question 2 was, are you going to have wristbands? And I was like, that's interesting. That's not a question I was ready for, you know? Yeah. And he's like, here's the deal. Like, all those words matter to me. Like, every single one of them. He's like, so for years, Kyle would spit the call out, and here these rookie quarterbacks in the huddle trying to regurgitate it. Did he say rib, lick, bash, bong? Like, they all mean something, especially the tight ends. Like, those words definitely tell them what to do. And he's like, and then I don't know how 6 years ago, he went to the wristband, and he goes, it's been unbelievable ever since. The guy comes in, as long as he can read, you know, he can read, and everyone knows what they're doing, and we're all on the same page. And I was like, yes, we're using wristbands. He goes, I need to see them. I need to see the wristbands. I was like, okay. So he came down to my computer. I pulled it up, and he's like, not good enough. So it's not a good enough wristband. So I was like, well, send me yours, you know? So we literally use their wristband. Like, we use their, like, blue and yellow are on the left hash calls, and orange and red are the right hash calls. And it's only just an Excel document with certain spacing. I mean, it's not, but it is. Theirs was better than ours, the one we were using, you know? And so I went to the quarterbacks. I'm like, hey, this is the one they use. And, like, this is how they format it. And they're like, well, coach, that's 100 times better. And I'm like, there you go.
One of the best parts of my job in TV is getting to meet coaches, and coaches who live ball and are fired up by ball and know more ball in their pinky than I'll know my entire life. And Tim Lester is the offensive coordinator at Iowa going into his 2nd year. The Niners drafted one of his guys who's a big man, the 7th rounder, pick 249, 6'6", 309, senior, Connor Colby. And Coach, you got so many crossovers. You were on the Packers staff 2 years ago at Western Michigan, a head coach. I love resumes like yours. AF played in the AF2.
Yes, the Deuce.
The Deuce. Yeah. I worked in the Deuce. Everybody had a staph infection on the team every week.
Yes, it's part of the deal, right? I mean, it's like an entry.
Then you coach high school football, junior college, high school football, and now you're calling some of the coolest plays on Saturdays in college football. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's been a journey, you know, coaching Division III, Division II, Division I, then in the Big Ten and the ACC, and obviously having a chance to be with the Packers was pretty neat. It's still all about the people you meet along the way, you know, and that's where you keep learning and trying. Like Connor, I've only been here a year. I've known Connor, I guess, just over a year now. You know, I got here in February. We lost to the Niners in the divisional round in it was 2nd or 3rd week of January, and ended up coming down here to Iowa City, and so you know, got to meet George Kittle when he came down the hallway. Pretty fired up about what we're running, you know, very, very similar to what he gets to run. So it's been a great first year. Long way to go, but a great first year.
Yeah. Jordan Love made a back foot throw to the far sideline in that game that I still just shake my head about.
Yeah. Like, no, too late. It's already gone. You know? Yeah. That was a good game.
Could you, for people who, Niner, we got a lot of hardcore fans. They're deep into Connor's tape or what's available out there on YouTube. And you mentioned Kittle enjoying what you're running. And, you were college teammates with Matt LaFleur and LaFleur's Shanahan tree.
Yep.
But so what are, like, what, and people who watch, like I tell people who maybe don't watch a lot of college football, because I got a mix. I'm like, you got to watch what Iowa does, or watch what Minnesota does, or watch what Indiana's running, or like there's so much cool stuff. So what are you, and what kind of offense is Connor coming from?
Yeah, I mean it's 95% Shanahan system, and we've had to change it to get it to work on our field, our hashes, our players. So there's some things I always try to coach up my guys when they're getting ready to meet with NFL teams for the changes. Like, hey, they're going to call this Wanda. You haven't heard the name Wanda. I took that out of the offense. It's assumed Wanda. But every single time they call it, they're going to call it Wanda, So you run Wanda a ton. You just don't. But they also have whiz and washy and all these terms that we do use. So it's probably 95% that. I learned it randomly enough. I was a Division III head coach at Elmhurst College in 2008, and Matt had just gone down to Houston. And I think Kyle was the quarterback coach. Kubiak was the head coach. I think Matt LaFleur at the time was getting coffee, whatever his job was. I mean, it was just got in, right? And that's my first experience with it. And we started running it at this small Division III school in Chicago, and 4 or 5 years later, we went 10-2. Our running back won the Heisman, running their wide zone scheme the way they taught it. Mike LaFleur was on that team, who's the offensive coordinator of the Rams now. So it's kind of funny how for me, it started at Elmhurst College, and Mike was on my team. Matt, Matt and Mike I've known Matt forever, and I got to know Mike there, and Mike GA'd for me. And then, obviously he's gone on to the NFL career he's gotten. So that was my first, time learning this system and how it's built. And so here we're pretty much running the exact same thing. We're probably more of the, more of the Matt LaFleur version of it. There's like a Matt LaFleur version. There's definitely a Kyle Shanahan version. There's definitely a Sean McVay version, but they're all super similar. They run them out of different personnel. That's one of the reasons I think that GMs like this system so much, is because you can run it out of 21 if you happen to have the best tight end in the world or best fullback in the world. Use check, right? You can do that. You can run it out of 11, which is what Sean does. Or you can run it out of 11 and 12, which is what Matt does, and there's a lot of other teams that run it one way or the other, obviously, depending on where you go. And, what those guys did, 2018, going to the Super Bowl in Atlanta, everything that's transpired since then is a little different, but everything before then is identically the same. So it's fun being a part of it, learning, because it's changing and evolving, and that's the exciting part. So when I got here, Connor, started 50 games, right? Like, all I knew is that he was big, he was physical, and he'd run off the ball, which is all I really needed, and so it was amazing. He doesn't talk a lot, doesn't have a ton to say, just a tough, hard-nosed, physical, picked it up really quick. I think when I got here, he already started 38 straight games or something like that. Played right tackle, played left guard, played right guard. There's just not a lot of people that have that many starts at multiple positions. So he's definitely going to have some familiarity with what they're doing. But most importantly, he's big, he's explosive, and he can run off the ball, which is going to be a huge part of what they do.
Yeah, 2,800 snaps. Now with the COVID year, there's plenty of guys that have played 2,800 snaps, but not in 4 years.
Yeah, not in the offensive line in the Big Ten too often either, because people get banged up, and he's super durable. Someone asked about something a couple of days ago, like something came up, like his injury. He's never missed a day that I can remember. He's always there at one of the most physical positions there is in football. He was just super consistent, and moving people off the ball, and took to what we're doing. The run game did change a little bit this year from previous years, and it allowed him to really show off that he could run. Yeah. He just wasn't a big plotter anymore. He was turning and running off the ball, and I think that really helped people get a see for what he would look like, playing on Sundays.
What do you feel like? Because I know, the thing that's so fun, like offensive, you guys are always pulling other plays, or you saw something on Twitter and you change it and whatever. Where do you think college is today versus maybe when you got the Western Michigan job in terms of percent? The Shanahan offense is all over the NFL now.
Yeah.
Where is it in college? Because it would seem to me like if I'm a guard, or certainly a quarterback, if I can hit the NFL already understanding this offense and proving I can run in it, like right now, I'd be attractive to half the teams in the league.
Yeah, I think it's not a lot of teams, believe it or not, only because I just don't think they've had the ability to meet the people to learn it. They steal it. I think they steal it from Twitter, or wherever they see it. But unless you've been around it or have some kind of inside track to knowing it, it's less than you think. I enjoy watching Liam Cohen at Kentucky back in, I don't know how many years ago that was, 5 years ago. And he did it a little bit, and Bieniemy did it a little bit at UCLA last year, which is fun when I could pull film up and actually see what we do, because they're few and far between. I think it's going to happen more and more. The two games are growing together. I can't wait till we have the same field, measurements. That would help me out a lot. And just make the two games so they're growing, and I really do think you're seeing more RPOs in the NFL game, which came from college, and you're slowly starting to see more of the pro stuff in college. It's just not as many people have access to it,
Well, how about like the orbit motion from the AFL from 25 years ago?
Yes, and we let them turn the corner and come all the way down full speed. It was fantastic. I mean, you run a switch route with full speed, it's open every time. I can't wait for that rule to change. But
sorry, I just want to say, can you explain to people, because even I didn't quite understand it till I really started talking to guys like you every week. People that come from the NFL, the hash marks. I know it's so fundamental, but explain that why it's so different to call plays or to run plays in college versus the NFL.
Well, you look at it, and I wish I knew the exact measurements. I should. I think the hashes are, I think it's 3 yard difference, right? Which is 9 feet. Like we literally live in a game of inches. Like, did the guy get his toes in on the sideline by this much, right? So when you have 9 more feet to work with into the boundary, there's a lot more things you can do. When you have 9 more feet to the field on a field throw, it's way easier to use the entire field, right? Way more dangerous in the NFL to bring a corner blitz, because there's less space. In the NFL, there's a lot more space behind that guy where you can get beat over the top. You see a lot more corner blitzing in college because it's so condensed over there. There's just not a lot of space. And we always say in football, like, space is opportunity, right? So if you get space, things can happen. So when you talk about 3 yards, 9 feet, I mean, it's a huge difference for you throwing to the field, for throwing to the boundary, for what defenses do. College defensive coordinators take advantage of that lack of space to the boundary, and the fact that if you want to make a field throw, you have college kids throwing it, not pros throwing it, and they got to throw it 9 more feet than the pros guys have to throw it. When it's like, oh, just throw it out there to the field. Like, yeah, that's like a 35-yard bullet, So it is different, and that's where I don't know why it's different. I don't know who made those rules. I look at the G League and the NBA or minor league baseball. I think it's the same field as Major League Baseball, as far as I know. I mean, the bases are still the same. So it would be great if they would merge. And then the poor high school kids, it's even further out there. I mean, the boundary, they can reach out and touch the sideline when they're on the hash, and no high school kid can throw it at the field because it's like 40 yards over there to the sideline. So I'm sure there's some rationale. I miss me. I would love for it to be identical. We had a great off season so far, just talking about the things that we did within the system that we've had to change. Adjustments that some we made before last year, some we've made after this year. Is just we have to stem routes to get to different areas of the field. You can get to the middle of the field really fast as a boundary receiver in the NFL, they sometimes even call plays. They're like, hey, we're calling it this way. We're pretty much in the middle of the whole game. From a college perspective, the NFL plays the game from the middle. So you can have a play that you only run right, and the right side of the line can learn the front side, and the left side of the line can learn the back side, and you just run it. You call it. It's a one-way call. Those are fun. In college, they're hash calls. It's you got to be able to run it both ways when you're trying to throw something to the field. So it definitely does change it. I would love to start a Twitter account to try to get it changed. I don't know how many people would care, but I would appreciate it if both fields were the same. But we're having fun at making the adjustments.
I'll ask around about that.
Yeah, see if you can get some people on board.
Nobody knows. It's one of those like, who's in charge of this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just been that. It's the way it is. Isn't that always the answer?
Yeah,
it's the way it is. Like, really? Does it have to be that way? You know.
Well, I got some stuff I want to show you real quick. I know you got work to do, but for people to understand, I just think this stuff's fun, and I'm taking advantage of the fact that I have some time with you. So first up, you know what? That's not the play I want. Let's go back to you as a head coach.
Oh, here it is.
This is you guys are down 4, Western Michigan, 8 to 20 seconds. You run a fake spike for the game-winning touchdown.
Yes.
Uncovered. I don't even know if you had to fake spike it.
Practice that play for 17 years.
Stop.
First time we called it. Now, I called it one other time, Division III, and the other coach called timeout before we snapped the ball. But I had it called one other time, and they didn't go out and cover number 1. I'm a big Dan Marino fan. I wore number 13. Dan Marino has probably the most famous fake spike of all time.
Yeah.
So we've always kept it in, and that was we use it. Actually, it wasn't the perfect time to use it. You normally don't use it after a first down. My quarterback had to wait for the whistle to be blown, which was weird. Because normally you use it on a second down when the clock's running, you know, and everyone's freaking out, but the clock was stopped, but it felt like the right time to call it. And, but yeah, we practiced that thing forever and then finally got to use it. Oh, I know what you're going with right now already.
Yeah, I haven't even played it yet. What is it?
It's Chief. You're going to run Chief. We hit the same one right there. You went through the A gap. Well, ours was through the B.
So for people listening to this on the podcast, this is Christian McCaffrey running between the guard and the center.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy finds him for a touchdown. So they run it. You guys, let's pull out I got a couple more. You guys ran it here. I mean, you probably ran it more than once.
Yeah.
You ran against Washington, and
we went through the B.
I mean, where did this play come from?
I mean, it's purely one of the beauties of this system. You know, no matter who came up with it, I know it's all derived from the West Coast, but what the Shanahan tree has done to it is this is a man beater, right? So we called this play, and we will not run it unless they're in man coverage, because if they're in man, we got a touchdown. This is an extremely hard thing it's a cross scat, so the poor linebacker on the left has to cover the running back. They're not expecting him to scat on the opposite side, and you are bringing in some what we call traffic. You know, all the receivers are one's going underneath the guy, one's going over the guy, making it really hard for him to get through. And so you call it, and if they don't give us man, we can to some boring inside zone play. And if they give us the look, it's on. And when it's on, all you got to do is pitch and catch. You know, that's the beauty is I've been a part of so many offenses that coach calls that big play. And if you don't get the right look, you're like, dang it. And you waste the play, right? Not in this thing. I mean, we're going to call a play for a look. And if we get it, it's going to be a touchdown. And if we don't, we're going to do another run play, you know, or do a safer play, you know, against the zone coverage. So it is fun to not waste plays in a game plan.
All right. Now, you know, we're talking about Connor a little bit too. And to be clear, you know, like I'm no film study guy. I'm certainly not an O-line run game expert, but and this might be hard for people to see.
Actually, you know what? Wait, did I call that Chief? Did I say Chief?
You did, yeah.
Cowboy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just realized because you know what? On 3rd and 9 for the win, the Chiefs ran Cowboy against the it was against the Buffalo Bills.
And the Bills run this too. They both run it.
It was unbelievable. I mean, like I got so many texts from my players, like, Coach, Cowboy for the win. Oh my, you know, 3rd and 9, not a time you call it. They must be a big 3rd and long man team. But they were trying to run the game out. What was that? Was that the divisional round? Whatever round that was in. Right. Well, maybe it was the week before the Super Bowl. I don't know. But they ran Cowboy on 3rd and 9 and hit the back for a first down. And it ended the game. They knelt on it. And all my players were fired up because they, you know, when I got here, I asked a lot of them, you know, how many guys watch NFL football? And not a lot of them did.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they had much connection to them. And now they watch it all the time. I get texts from random players when they're on Sundays when they're watching teams run routes and they get fired up when they see things that they know what's going on, you know? So anyway,
I've heard it called mesh traffic. Is that something different? Or
mesh? That would be like the family.
Yeah.
It'd be a mesh traffic family without a doubt. We call it Cowboy.
So this is just fun. Like I thought this is a run play that you guys run. And of course, Connor's the right guard here, blocks two guys, but I just love, this is a lot going on here just for this run play.
Yeah, this is more Western Michigan. When you got the more like zone read, run. We're just trying to pull people out of there. Because in the red zone they're going to load the box, right? We had a very physical alignment that our whole line did a really good job. Obviously led by Connor, and so we had we needed to find ways to get some of those bodies out, and so by taking that tight end to the bound or to the field here, he's just trying to pull people out of there, because if we could get just close to an equal box, our offensive line, and obviously Caleb could do the rest.
I love hearing all these play calls. Exit to east, right, nasty, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. Especially in the West Coast. It's like the true West. I really think the number one thing that Shanahan did is he took like the 3 sentences and made them 2 or even 1. Like, I mean, yeah, it's just the original West Coast would not change anything. Like, they wanted to have freedom of everything. Like, well, hey, we run this route all the time. Like the dice right, clamp, tight, wide left. Like, why don't we just call that? Well, let's come up with a name for it. Let's call it swamp right. Right. Yeah. And so you just took 3 sentences and made it 1 word. And so it's been fun to kind of watch them. It's still long. Yeah. I mean, guys come in here and because they're looking at other schools that have like 4 plays. And I'm like, well, it's still going to be long. But compared to, I would say, listen to John Gruden call plays. Like, that's original. There's no shortcuts. It's you start with the base formation, you move this guy, and then you move, and each one has a word. You have to build it, which is like 2 sentences, and then you call the play. Yeah. Whereas I think Shannon's found a way to make it not as crazy, not as totally insane crazy of a. And then Gruden's yelling at him if they can't regurgitate it. When I met Kittle, he came in, gave me a huge hug. He's all fired up. He asked me 2 questions, right? The first one was, are you going to run Zora, which is his favorite play, which he's the best in the world. Him and Juszczyk at it. It's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. They're going to get you. They're going to gut you. And I'm like, yes, we are. We're going to run that. That was number 1. So that didn't surprise me. Question 2 was, are you going to have wristbands? And I was like, that's interesting. That's not a question I was ready for, Yeah. And he's like, here's the deal. Like, all those words matter to me, like every single one of them. He's like, so for years, Kyle would spit the call out and hear these rookie quarterbacks in the huddle trying to regurgitate it. And he's mumbling his words. He's slurring, putting things together. And I can't hear what he's saying. Did he say rib, lick, bash, bong? Like, they all mean something, especially the tight ends. Like, those words definitely tell them what to do. And he's like, and then I don't know how 6 years ago, he went to the wristband and he goes, it's been unbelievable ever since. The guy comes in, as long as he can read, he can read, and everyone knows what they're doing, and we're all on the same page. And I was like, yes, we're using wristbands. He goes, I need to see them. I need to see the wristbands. I was like, okay. So he came down to my computer. I pulled it up, and he's like, not good enough. So it's not a good enough wristband. So I was like, well, send me yours, So we literally use their wristband. Like, we use their, like, blue and yellow are on the left hash calls, and orange and red are the right hash calls. And it's only just an Excel document with certain spacing. I mean, it's not, but it is. Theirs was better than ours. The one we were using, And so I went to the quarterbacks. I'm like, hey, this is the one they use. And like, this is how they format it. And they're like, well, coach, that's 100 times better. And I'm like, there you go. So, but I thought that was a funny second question, as far as how much the words mean. Like, that was his second question about, are you guys using wristbands so these guys don't know what they're doing? I was like, yes, we are. Now we're using yours, or now we're using theirs, God. So it's crazy.
That's specifics. I just love specifics. It's just so specific,
It's not, he knew exactly what he wanted to ask. I think he was in town to see Caitlin Clark play. I forget why he was here.
This was your first, just before. Yeah.
It was like right when I got here. And he came running up. First, I told him I was mad because they beat us, because I thought we had them beat. And
same.
Yeah, and,
you did.
And then we got into that, and those were his 2 questions to me. I'll never forget it. So it was pretty funny.
Did you know? I'm reading one of Bill Walsh's books right now. Did you know that they invented tight end motion by accident?
No.
He was the coach at the Bengals. Paul Brown.
Yeah.
They're playing the Raiders. Their tight end lines up in the wrong place and has to move. So like Tuesday, Monday, whatever, the coaches are watching film and they're like, this is like
They're
1977.
lost. They don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but like Walsh, like all the coaches, like, do you guys look what just happened to the defense when our tight end got confused?
Yeah.
So they put in motion.
And let me tell you, Shanahan has taken that to a whole different level.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you look at like what Mike's doing down in Miami. I mean, they have an Olympic track team running this stuff, and they are motioning fast. I mean, those guys get from one, like Waddle and those guys. I mean, they can fly. And they're in one formation, and you blink, and that dude is on that, and he's number one over there, and they're snapping it, and you got to make all your adjustments. It is fun to see kind of how he runs it, and then Cincinnati, and obviously, Minnesota. Like everyone's running a different it's what version are you running? You
guys are just cooking, man.
It's so funny.
You guys are just cooking.
And I'm starting to get to know guys on both sides. I'm getting to know more people as we go further away from 2018. Like, they're becoming more of the Kyle version and the Sean version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anything that was called a certain way before 2018, it's identical. But anything that was after 2018, it's just a little different.
Interesting.
So, like the backside combination, my favorite one to explain is like one of the main backside combinations is called knife, and everyone calls it knife. I mean, it's knife, and it's just, whatever your Coco knife or whatever you want to run. But then they've all been messing with it, right? So Matt, and I don't know exactly how they do it in LA. I'd have to look at their playbook. I haven't looked at it, but the one in Green Bay, like as we made adjustments to those routes, we use the sharp object family, right? So we have like dagger, and we have lancer, and we have needle, and we have all these different terms, right? The Texans, when Slowick, who was under Kyle, and I noticed that obviously Kyle, when he started messing around, he used the knife as a utensil. So his are spoon, fork, knife, like it's the same plays. Like our cut is their spoon. It's the same thing. And then like fly motions, like we use F terms. And I know that the Shanahan tree or the Kyle tree is more like airlines. They have like Spirit and Alaska and Allegiant or Delta,
So good.
So it's funny because if you watch like the 2018, like anything that's changed since then, it's all the same. They all watch each other too. It is hilarious. Like you will get, if Mike comes up, if the Dolphins do something cool,
right?
I heard a story, and I don't know if this story is true, but the whatever the people call it, stretch, reverse back to the receiver, pitch it back to the quarterback, tight end leak faucet down the front side. I don't know. Someone did that on like a Thursday night football, and I read a story, and I want to say it was Kittle telling the story where like it was out there. Like, so they put it in for Sunday because you had to get it in. Because guess who else? Defensive coordinators watch it too. Like once it's a play out there, everyone's ready for it. So literally you had two, actually I think it was the Lions. I think two Iowa tight ends caught the same play in the same weekend. And Kittle had told the story that it was put in because like, this is our last chance. Like before everyone can adjust to it, let's put it in.
So good.
And they practiced it on Friday and ran it on Sunday and scored. And so they all watch each other.
Over 5 yards a carry, top 25 in the nation last year, second in the league, and really efficient in the pass game. Like I'm really excited to see you guys in year 2 this year.
It's that's like the growth, plan, right? So we were fairly efficient running the ball the year before I got here. We weren't throwing the ball. So the goal this year was to find a way to be explosive, right? And you find all the different teams running this system are explosive in different ways, So the goal this year was to find a way to be explosive in the run game, not just efficient, and to find a way to be efficient in the passing game. And we were able to do that. We were way better on third down, but now we have to be explosive in the pass game. That's next, right? Like you can't just say we're going to go from, 130th in the country to be super explosive throwing it, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a step in the middle. So very happy with the, first step, but we got ways to go. That's the fun part.
Well, everyone around here is watching because of Kittle. Everyone's become we've got Iowa and now Iowa State fans in the Bay Area. Like everyone's locked in because
they're in the same locker room over there. I'm sure that week. That week is probably a fun week in the locker room.
It's a fun week. So, all right. Last thing before I let you go, Coach Connor. Just what would you say give me his best quality. And if the offensive coaches in San Francisco said, hey, what should we focus on? Where can he get better? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that they're going to see, obviously, is one, the durability, which is the number one thing. You got to be out there, and he's consistently out there. He's extremely intelligent, but he can run. I mean, if you look at his like broad jump times, like he's an explosive for a big guy. He's extremely explosive running off the ball, and I think in your wide zone game with the running backs you guys have running, I mean, it's going to be fun. He won't look out of place running with those guys up front. And, you know, obviously pass pro would probably be the thing. I mean, previous to me getting here, they didn't drop back a ton, and we didn't drop back a ton this year. So that's probably the one thing. I think that's every offensive lineman that goes to the NFL, you know, working on their pass pro. Maybe some other programs need to learn how to run because all they did is pass pro, but we run the ball. Right. We have run the ball. So I haven't seen a ton of pass pro stuff. So he's going to probably need to clean that up because he's also going to be going against some really good defensive, you know, 3 techniques and shades and 2 eyes. So that's probably the part that he has to focus on. Obviously, if they stay run and play pass, he'll fit in perfectly. And it'll be exactly, it did make sense to me when they took him because I just think he fits with what they do. And so hopefully he can get in there and he's going to work hard. He's not going to say a word. You got to interview him, see what he says. Okay. I mean, I talked to him the other day in the hallway, and he talked to me more than he's talked to me since I've been here. Like, he was obviously excited he got drafted, right? And we talked about where you're going to live, and he just got his iPad and all this stuff that rookies like him go through at this point. I think he's nervously excited, you know, and but he does not talk. He likes to work, which will make him fit in really well in that locker room, I'm sure.
Coach, I know you're busy. I really appreciate you taking time. It's great to catch up with you.
Good seeing you. Thank you.